Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm a few minutes late. I've had sessions today, and gosh, I'm kind of one of those readers that I am not like start and stop right on the minute because sometimes you know what stuff's coming through that's so strong and so powerful, or the connection is just so valuable. I'm like not one of those that can just cut that off. So anyway, and that's what's been going on today. So great session so far. I'm excited to see what the guides have for us today. And for those of you just finding my channel, if this is your first time tuning in, I am Betsy Grady, and this is my pop up with the Akashic Records. And I'm trying to do this weekly. I think I'll be good for the rest of the summer. So I appreciate y'all being patient with me and just being on this flow that we're in with it. Fluid, right? We have to be fluid with our lives. So anyway, so we are going to do the Akashic Records. Hi, you guys. Thanks for joining live. So good to see you. I'm going to read the Akashic Prayer, and then we'll take a moment to connect. We'll see what messages the guides in spirit, we even call them the record keepers, the masters, whoever. Let's just see what they have to say today. And then I'll get into your questions. Okay. Now, I always say if you haven't watched one of the videos before, or you haven't had a reading with me, while I read the prayer, if it feels right to you, close your eyes and just let yourself relax and just be open to what might pop in your mind. Know the guides brought you here for a reason. Again, I'll drop my prayer. Whether you're here live or just catching us later, you're still brought here for a reason. And just say a little thanks to your guides. Okay. I ask God if He will have a shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records, so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. Okay. All right. So, message today that the guides want to start out with. They want to remind you. Now, these are, when I say the guides in spirit, I'm kind of generalizing because there's so much divine energy around that is assisting, from what I call masters of the universe, the record keepers of the universe, angels, your spirit guides, departed loved ones. I mean, there's just a ton out there. And so when I use guides, I'm just going to generalize that, the divine in that term. But they want you to know, all right, two things. They're saying you're more powerful than you realize you are. And they are even more powerful. And what they mean, and this is not a competition as in power and who can do what or what, but what they want you to realize is they are on your side, every being in the divine. And it is their honor and pleasure, and part of their existence really is to assist you on your journeys here. And so when they say they're more powerful, what they mean is they see bigger, they see broader, they see more than you see. And part of that is by design, because we are meant to be here in human form, limited from our form and spirit. And that is all on purpose. But they are in that true form of spirit. So what they're saying is really cool. This came through in a reading today for someone, and they want me to share it here for you. You know, often we're told that we are kind of living in a movie here where we've written the script. We're the star. We've got, leading actors and actresses and supporting actors and actresses. We've got a theme that we're playing out. And, oftentimes we'll be told if you don't like what is unfolding in the movie, you're the scriptwriter, just change it. And they said, that's not easy to do because we can't really grasp how do I change the script? And, where do I go back and rewrite what I've written out there to come? And so what they said is they would have you look at it as this. Imagine that you are a painter, that you are an artist, and that your life is a blank canvas, and you are painting this canvas with your energy. And remember, your thoughts are energy. So think of your thoughts and your energy. Think of as the brush. Think of your thoughts in particular as brush strokes. And so, gosh, that is really cool. Now, that didn't even come through in the reading, but think of your energy as the paintbrush, your life as the blank canvas, and your thoughts are creating the strokes that you're putting down on the canvas. And so when you don't like what you're painting, then you get to paint over that and you get to change what you're looking at. And they said it's much easier to think of in that terms, changing your thoughts, changing what you're seeing. And then the best part is to remember they see your vision, they hear your thoughts, they know what you're trying to paint, and they would like to support you in that. And you have to remember that they see a bigger vision of that painting. They see a version of that painting that you would like even more than you would like. And so your work is to at least paint what you like, at least paint what you want to look at, change what you don't, and then trust on some level that your guides in the divine are going to take that and expand upon it, because they ultimately know what's in your heart of hearts and what you really want to experience here. And so there really is this co-creative dance. You're responsible for part of it, and they're responsible for part of it. And you have to let them in, and you have to trust in their ability to see more and to present more and to take you into those places that you don't even know you want to be. So there's a little bit like create and surrender, create and surrender, create and surrender. And remember above all to stay true to you and really move in the direction of things feeling peaceful, loving, and in harmony with you. And if they're not, that may be your sign to move a different direction or work through something there that's sticky for you. So, but they want you to know they so enjoy the role they get to play for you in the universe in assisting you. And sometimes they will say, get out of the way and let them take over. And you know what? Let them take over, because they do see more than we can see with our human perspective here. Okay. Hi, you guys. Thanks for joining in. All right, let's see here. So think of it this way. If you are painting on an 11 by 18 canvas, okay, and you see what you see to fill up that canvas, your guides are painting on, just say, a 12 by 12 foot canvas. Does that make sense? So you might not can imagine something that big, but they do. And they're going to take you as far as you can go. That really serves your highest and best. And the one thing they want to hit home, they are always, always, always operating in that direction to serve your highest and best. And sometimes in our limited human experience here, we don't know what that is, yet we can trust that they do. And they're always going to guide us in that direction. And as a matter of fact, when you're looking at other people and their journeys and what they're doing, same thing for them. They have their own guides. Their guides are trying to guide them in their highest and best. And so you don't have to jump in and fix or intervene in some way and, help if you're asked to help. But otherwise, just trust. Everybody's got assistance here. Okay, that's really cool. Let me see if they have anything else. Nope, we are going to jump in with some questions. Okay. All right. As always, I'm going to read the questions that got submitted to me to my email address. So let me start there. And then we should have time, and I'll be able to get, let's see, I should be able to get to your questions here. Okay. What's the best way to work on my mind and brain for emotional mental healing and to get back to life and living, be it sound healing, music, geolocation, fasting, meditation, um, a Uripi ceremony, or what, in order to eradicate the shock effect of trauma and process my way through it in this life and not carry it and allow it to fester. I feel like I've tried to take on too much in one lifetime, and instead of rinsing my way through it, got stuck in the spin cycle instead. Great question. And I have many of us tuning in here, many of you guys can relate to that. Okay, so let's see here. So, spin cycle, so fascinating you use that term, because often what happens is in the brain is we have a thought, remember that brushstroke, and it's on a loop. It's just repeat, repeat, repeat. And it's become a subconscious program, a subconscious loop, and it's just repeating the same brushstroke. Might move the canvas around, but it's still going to repeat the same brushstroke. So the key is to change that loop. And so changing that loop is really comes down to reprogramming the subconscious mind and putting in a new loop that's more supportive, that's more positive. So how do you do that? Well, microcurrent neurofeedback, y'all have heard me talk about that before. Highly recommend it. It really does create permanent change in the brain. And you can see changes in the brain in 3 to 5 sessions, but they'll recommend 20 at the most. But it creates permanent change. It literally puts in a positive program into the brain. And how it works is they put these little things, electrodes on your head, just a few, and it detects your dominant brain pattern. And then once it detects that signal, it matches it at the same signal, but with a positive I don't know how it all works, but because it's not like they're putting a statement or affirmation there, but they're putting a positive brain signal that overrides that loop. And so it really does create new neural pathways, so to speak. That is one thing you can do that I think you would find really helpful. At least read about it and give it a try. So let me see if there's anything else to get out of that spin cycle. So, especially in a trauma brain, because trauma really, so many of us go through trauma, and so many of you have that are joining in, and some of you probably might even be in it now. And there's also what can happen, they call like a trauma trance, that your brain gets frozen in this, reaction to trauma. And so you start to live life from that place of reaction. So it is about arresting that and getting out of that. I'm hearing that some of the things you mentioned as fasting would be very helpful. Brings a lot of clarity to the brain. It gives that you would really appreciate that. And even if you could get to like the one meal a day, that would be really helpful to you. Going to a different location would also be helpful. And even if that's temporary, but traveling more, whether it's a weekend here and a weekend here and a weekend here, I'm hearing a change of scenery. Also gives your brain something different to think about. You might, on just a very simple, quick beginning new energy, rearrange all the furniture in your home, all the artwork that's hanging, like shift that up. Um, but start making changes for your brain to appreciate seeing new things, looking at things differently, and that will start to put that in motion. So, thank you for asking that question. Okay. Okay. All right. My question is, this summer makes 6 years since I ended my 7 year relationship and engagement. I believe I've done the shadow work as to the lessons needed and feel like I've learned much about self love from this. Do the guides see me having a sacred partnership on the second half of my journey? I am open, but I also do not feel drawn to the dating sites at all. I would be grateful to know what they think. Thanks. Okay. Okay. So this is cool. I will tell you this. I do see you attracting another partner into your life that can be a very sacred relationship. One of the things your guides are saying, and they would do this figuratively and literally, they are saying, and this part of this is kind of a feng shui approach to things, but to start putting things around your home in pairs, pictures of couples, whether it's paintings of couples, it could be two horses, with their heads wrapped in each other. But start putting things in your experience that represent twos, partners, connection. And they said, and you start training your mind to see connection everywhere you look, and that begins to bring that experience to you. And so you start to train your thoughts on looking at couples or partnerships or connections or pairs or whatever that might be, just um, bonds that are strong and loving. And it's almost like in that, what you're seeing around you in your physical environment, it's almost like your thoughts are painting the canvas, brushstrokes of partnership. And remember, we have to be in the energy of something in order for it to come to us. And so, if you want romance, if you want a sacred connection, any of that, how can you, excuse me, cultivate that energy now so that that's the signal you're sending out? And that's one thing you could do. Excuse me. So, it'd be also fun to see where the relationship corner is in your home and what is in that corner. And so typically, and this is just rudimentary feng shui, I am not an expert by any means, but like if you're standing at the front of your house, I think the front door, and if my friend is listening who's a feng shui person and she's on here, um, look at the far left corner of the home and what's there for you. And then, um, does it represent life, growth, support? Are the colors there that represent the heart energy or partnership and romance? So think about things like that. And I'm not sure where you live that asked this question, but if there's someone in your area that does feng shui, um, it would be really helpful. And if not, I have a great person I can recommend. She's fabulous. So you just let me know. But there are things you can do to be in the energy of that and start receiving that. Um, Also, pay attention to the number two. Twos. If you start seeing a lot of those, I would say you're getting closer. And that's just something the guides want to um, validate the connection for you by showing you more twos. So you might be behind a car and the license has a lot of twos in it, or you might come to an appointment and the address has a lot of twos, or a phone number has a lot of twos. But anyway, just be open to how those start showing up for you too. Two, no pun intended. That's funny. So I'm hearing you have done a lot of work, and it's really time to experience the fruits of that work, if that makes sense, and see what's out there for you to line up with, and what is that next level of expansion for you in partnership. And, because it's easy to be here and be single and live our lives and do our thing and not worry about anybody else for the most part. And partnerships, relationships do. Um, Pull some different stuff out of us. We show up differently in partnership than we would being home alone, if that makes sense. And it's time to really experience that and express that and feel that. A right corner. Oops, I was wrong. It's not the far left. That's right, because I'm in the far left now, my home, and that's the abundance corner. Thank you, Meryl. It's the right corner of the home, the back right corner that is relationship. So now think about what you have in there. That's funny. Okay, let me see. I'll tell you this: the in my home, the back corner, the right corner of the relationship corner in my home is the master bathroom, and actually the the toilet is there. So I've got beautiful art hanging in there. I have crystals in there. I have a little plant that's in there by the window. So anything I can to bring life into that area and growth and beauty. So that's so funny. Thank you. Thank you, Meryl. Okay. Oh, and by the way, online dating, you know what? If you don't feel drawn to that now, honor that. If you decide you feel drawn to it a month from now, honor that. Really remember there's nothing wrong with it. It is all energy. Your energy is going to line up with who you're meant to line up with. So whether you meet him online, whether you meet him at the grocery store, whether you meet him, at the garden center, at wherever you like to go, or the library, just remember your energy is what's attracting. How it attracts and what avenue doesn't really matter. It's your energy is still going to line up with who you're meant to line up with. If you get online dating, I always say this: when you get online dating and you see what you're attracting, then it's really evident of what signal you're putting out there. So you could use it as a little litmus test to see what signal you're sending and really have fun with that. See what's out there. But like I said, it might take a month or two before you're ready to go that route. And if you're never ready to go that route, that's okay too. So, okay, here we go. I'd like to ask the guides if they can share some insight and solutions as to why my daughter occasionally gets stomach pains. Okay. Well, metaphysically speaking, you would ask, what is it that she can't stomach? What is it that's causing her pain to stomach? And that would be the emotional relationship to that. And so there's some stuff going on in her little world that she might not really be able to articulate what she's thinking and feeling. So her body's doing it for her. And gosh, I mean, microcurrent neurofeedback probably be great for her too, to help with what she has going on in her life. Because, sometimes it's hard for children to really explain what they're thinking and feeling. Yet I love that you're curious and wanting to help her. And I think she feels that too, which is really wonderful, for a dad to be in touch with and in tune with. And you might just ask her some of those questions. So part of it I'm also hearing is a distraction for her from feeling her feelings. Like it's a little bit of avoidance. They're saying so she doesn't feel her feelings and the emotions that she's having right now. But if physical pain is there, it gives her something tangible to focus on. So I would say it's kind of psychosomatic, what's going on with her tummy. I don't feel like a lot of physical tests and all that is going to reveal anything, but more mental, emotional stuff. So I don't know if she has like a prayer book or, something she could read that would bring her comfort, that would kind of teach her, that she's got her guides out there waiting to, help her in some way, but it'd be really nice to introduce her to that in some way, some fashion. It might be a Christian route that you take because that's so accessible to her. Use that. Use whatever's going to teach her to feel that somebody's got her back in the universe, and that can start to alleviate. If she knew she had someone to talk to in spirit, whether it's God or her guardian angel or someone that she loves that's passed, um, that would be a really neat thing for her to have, that you could guide her towards, at least for now, so she doesn't feel alone, and she can share her you know secret thoughts and feelings with someone, um, other than her parents or siblings or somebody that might judge her. Not that you would, but a lot of us don't share a lot of things because we don't want to be judged. So I'm glad you asked that question. Okay. I got a lot of questions, y'all. I see a lot here online today. Okay. Mm. So here, my cat Giselle has been having trouble with diarrhea for over a year now. So far, we've been unable to determine the cause or solution, and further testing is cost prohibitive. What is going on with her, and what can I do to help her? Okay, Giselle, let's see. You know what? I'm hearing that Giselle has some anxiety, and I'm not sure what that's about. If someone in the home is anxious about something, cats and animals often take that on. It feels like she is trying to pull some emotions out and let them pass through. Um, One thing that I'm hearing is to treat the anxiety for her. Uh, so I'm not sure, like I said, if something has shifted between you or anybody else in the household in the last year. And you might want to look into, they make homeopathic remedies for animals, Bach flower. You can use that rescue remedy, put it on their ears, put some in the water. That could help. And you may want to talk to the vet about, kitty Xanax. That could be helpful too. That just takes a little edge off for her. But that's what I'm hearing. It's around anxiety. I'm not feeling like there's anything internal going on with her either, like the question before with the daughter. In this case, though, it feels like she's. I don't know if y'all moved to a new house. There's something that she's picking up on the energy there. Um, a lot of thoughts, a lot of thoughts, a lot of thoughts is what I'm hearing. It's almost like there's so many thoughts. Somebody's head is going so fast, so many thoughts that she's trying to take some of those on and clear them out for some reason. So hopefully that's helpful in some way. But I would treat the anxiety rescue remedy. Anybody and everybody can use. So it's not just for animals. It's definitely for people. So check that out. That could be really helpful. Okay. And you'll have to keep us updated and let us know how Giselle is doing. Okay. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging on here. Let me keep going here. All right. I've been doing some reading about life after life. Some say that it's best for us to let them go so they can do what they're supposed to do in the new realm without being distracted by us. Since my friend passed earlier this year, I feel like we found ways to communicate and we've both gotten better at it. It's helped me so much to stay connected, but I don't want to hold him back. Can you ask about this? Okay. Well, as in human life, as in spirit life, we are only responsible for us. We can only control what happens to us. And every soul has consciousness. Every soul chooses for itself. And even in spirit, when someone passes on, they have nowhere to go. That I don't know who says that, but remember that could be old information. They have nowhere to go. They want to stay focused here. Now, remember, they can be having and moving towards another incarnation. They could be spending time up there studying things, And at the same time, stay focused here. They are multi-dimensional beings now, and they're not limited, by linear movement or like that we are here. There's no, past, present, future for them, if that makes sense. So you are not distracting them from anything. You're not keeping them from having a different experience that they want to have. Because if they want to have it, they're going to move towards it. And you have no power over that, just like they have no power over the choices you make here. Now, can they give an opinion and try and influence and show you that, hey, I would go this way, by sending you signs and signals? Sure. But ultimately, you're going to make that choice. And it's same thing for those in spirit. Nothing changes as far as that goes. As a matter of fact, they would be heartbroken. He would be heartbroken if you quit trying to communicate and quit trying to have that connection. So that's why Mexico celebrates Day of the Dead every year. It's keeping those memories alive and keeping those spirits around and letting them know they still matter. And that really is important to them in spirit. So you are helping in his continued evolution by staying in contact with him as he is helping in yours. So remember, a lot of times people come into our lives and we build this bond and this closeness, and then they depart. And part of that is on purpose for you to really develop that psychic connection, so that you can apply that to more and more and more in life. But yeah, stay with it. Love every part of it. Let it get bigger, deeper, stronger, whatever it's meant to be. Trust in the evolution of it. Okay. I love these questions, y'all. Okay. All right, here's one. I just need to know if I'm on the right track and whether my guides have any advice. I'm going through a very difficult time, but I'm handling it. I just need some guidance. Okay. Well, a general response is you're never not on the right track. So part of you has to kind of trust where you are. Now, sometimes disruption comes onto our path, whether we, initiated it or not. And part of it is because the guides are trying to take you on the quickest path to somewhere. And yeah, that can be that path of least resistance. Like, this is your fastest avenue to get to where you want. They see it, but you don't see it. And this is where, on some level, you just got to trust that you're meant to be going through this for a reason. And one way to get through these difficult times is to keep asking yourself, what do I need to see here? What am I learning about myself? How am I growing and evolving? How is this changing me for the better? Um, and keep putting it in that perspective, so you stay more in that observer's role and you're not so attached to what's going on, and you're not letting your ego and emotions dictate how you move through this, if that makes sense. Now, sometimes we're really meant to feel those big feelings and have those big emotions. That's part of why we choose to be human and have these lifetimes. So one thing that I'm hearing for you is it's teaching you new skills. I don't know if it's new coping skills, or it's whatever you're going through is asking you to reach for different ways that you haven't before, of finding comfort within, finding that peace and harmony within. So like, you're meant to be learning some things, and by going through whatever you're going through, it's forcing you to seek out alternative ways. I'm not sure if that makes sense, and hopefully it does for you. um, I am being told to tell you this is temporary, and you're doing more than handling it, and you can speed this up by finding things in this to be grateful for. Mhm. That may be hard to do, yet there's something in there. There's a nugget in there for you to really take. And once you get that nugget, it feels like this is going to get behind you fast. So, okay. Thank you for asking that question too. Okay. All right, you guys, hang on here. I've got three more to go that got sent in, and then I'm going to hop over here to you guys joining us live. Okay. Okay, my question is about my son. He's 21, living at home. He has his GED, went to community college. He stopped going last year. Uh, he's very quiet, always says everything's okay. He's very sensitive, has a sweet aura. He's worked at a local golf course since he was 18, part time and seasonal. My husband and I don't want to pressure him. He's been through a lot when he was younger and is sensitive, but I'm worried about his future. Will he find his way? Will an opportunity come into his life? Will he find a good direction? What do you see him doing as a career or love, a job direction someday in the next few years? He's an only child, has good friends, but isn't close to his cousins that live close. He's hard to open up. Okay. Thank you for sharing all that information about your son. I can tell you're concerned, and I know you want the best for him, you and your husband both. So, okay, here. Here. You know, part of what you're doing, you're already serving him, and by being supportive and letting him be there and not pressuring him, because man, there's nothing like being pressured. So you already made the right decision in that. Um, Being forced to make decisions uh, creates resentment. And when somebody makes a decision on their own to move in a direction, there's real power in that for them. And it just helps their self esteem and confidence. So let me see for him. Let me see here. For your son here. You know what? This is really curious. Looks like he really likes being at the golf course. So this may be a little shocking. It may not be. It might be something you've already thought about. But what the guides are saying is there an area that you could move to that golf courses are open year round? That he would have an opportunity to work there longer, because actually I'm hearing there's a bit of a connection there for him. There's something there that he likes. I don't know if it's being around all that nature. There's just something he's good at, and I'm not sure what that might be. I would be wondering if this is a co-creative process with your son to consider moving to an area that would serve you and your husband also. I know family and cousins are nearby, but it might be calling you to live a different kind of life for a little while. Here. It does feel like getting him in an area where golf courses are open year round would be really helpful, where there's something for him to do, where they're open longer, and watch him get more and more work there. I'm kind of curious if he plays or if anybody plays with him on the side or as a hobby, but I think he has an aptitude for that might not have been recognized yet. It really feeds his introverted nature, and he feels at home there. And I think that's kind of special to recognize. Um, Here. So I would continue to support him there. And I do feel like he's going to find his way. I'd love that y'all are creating the space for him to do so. You know what? Now, what you might want to do, if you don't want to, he might not be open to trying microcurrent neurofeedback, but there is this work called the emotion code, body code work, where you could actually do and see if you could do some work for your son, and he would not even have to be aware of it. The person that facilitates that work would kind of muscle test to see if you could be the surrogate for him, so to speak, energetically. And this may be just way out there, but I would say be open to it because you can have great impact. Um, Energetically, remember, thoughts are energy. They're like the brushstrokes on the canvas. And if there's something you could do to change your thoughts around worry for him to seeing success for him, but also influence some of the thoughts in his mind energetically, that's really powerful. So look up the emotion code, body code work. And I've got somebody I can recommend for that too. You don't have to do that in person, but just let me know that you may find that really helpful. Um, and I've talked to a lot of clients that have done that and been able to do work around their children with it and seeing changes. So it's really cool how that works. Remember, everything's energy, and our thoughts are energy. His thoughts are energy. You don't even know what they are because honestly, we can see by looking at somebody's life where their thoughts are, right? So, um, we're not here to judge. We are not here to judge. We are only here to change what we want to change and live our best life, for our highest and best self. Can we help others? Yeah, by changing the thoughts we hold about others. Absolutely. So remember, if you see somebody as weak, and not saying you see that about your son, this is just a general, you know, thing. But if we see somebody as weak or broken or hurt or whatever that might be, we continue to see him in that. And so it won't change. What we focus on expands. But if we can change our thoughts and see things, that image on the canvas, that's a beautiful picture to look at, or this person we see, oh my gosh, look how strong they are, look what they're doing. Those kind of things start to shift, and it shifts in their experience too. So really powerful stuff here. It's amazing that we can't control what another soul chooses, yet we can control how we support them. And so much of this all comes down to energy. So remember, we thrive based on the environments we're in. So how can you start to shift that environment? And that could be where you're really, being supportive and influential. So I'm hoping that all makes sense. But reach out if you want a little more information on that person that does the emotion code work. So, okay, here. Okay. I'm having intense and detailed dreams revolving around my past 30, 40 years ago relationships. Most old loves and exes or friends appearing in great detail or simply walking through the dream. Would you ask the guides why or what message they have for me in order to cut these past memories loose? I have no bad feelings towards these or them, just want to live in the present moment. And, well, that's not totally true. So I would say there might be some bad feelings there, huh? Um, okay, let's see here. Well, it's interesting. This may not necessarily be about you. It uh, may be more about them thinking about you. And I don't know if you watched last week's, be more about them thinking about you. And I don't know if you watched last week's session. But one of the things that the guide said, it's like even those in spirit, if we're thinking about them, they're thinking about us. And you're having dreams about people. So, two things: they're either thinking about you and they're trying to clear some energy there, and you're just playing a role for them. You're catching their hello. You know how when you think about somebody and next thing you know, they call or reach out, all of that's that stuff going on in the energy. Same thing with dreams. They could be thinking about you and dropping in for a quick hello. And part of it's because you're open and receptive in the dream state. So the other thing is when we dream and we dream about people, often those people in our dreams represent aspects of us that we're meant to get back in touch with or meant to explore again. And so think, or those aspects are showing up in our lives in some way, and the dreams are just kind of letting you know, hey, you need to look at this. So I would explore both of those things. um, I'm not hearing it's necessary to cut ties with any of those memories. You know what? Because these are relationships that you have. They're soul contracts that you had in this lifetime. And there's still some sacredness around those contracts. They're not ones that I'm hearing need to be cut. That there's still something there to honor about them and to be appreciative about. So, um, if you're playing a role for somebody in that way, you know, be okay with that. And then, like I said, if there's something in some way in your waking life that you're embracing the aspects of them would be helpful, I would look at that too. Or if you're embracing aspects that you're getting a warning about, like don't have those thoughts, don't paint with that brushstroke kind of thing, that would be helpful to do too. So I love that you brought that question in. Okay, y'all. Okay, I know we got a lot of questions here. I've got, let me see. I'm going to try and knock through as many as I can. I'm so grateful y'all are all here. Okay. What was the main message I was supposed to get from running into the couple the other day who bought my house? Okay. All right. Let me see. So the guides are telling me the main message is there's more to the story. And the story is not done. It's not complete. It doesn't, the book has not ended. The final chapter has not been written. Oh, that's really funny. In more ways than one. So there is more to the story, more to come. There's a couple more chapters here and maybe even a whole new book. And they were validating that feeling for you and that curiosity for you. In here. So I would say that's the main message. There might be a chapter to this book that still needs to be written, and then a whole nother book's going to be on the other side of that. But will you be writing it or somebody else be writing it? We don't know yet. Um, but there is something there that was being validated for you. Okay. All right, you guys. Here we go. So thank you for being patient. Let's see here. How do I handle a political conversation with my adult son? We have different views and it's hurting our relationship. Oh, okay. That's so tough, man. The politics these days really stirring things up for people. And it's like there's just total polarity. There's no middle ground either. So your question here for you and your son. It's your son, what I'm hearing to tell you is coming from a fear space and a lack space and a worry space and an anxious space. And so he's looking at everything from a perspective of fear and worry. And I'm hearing there's a sense of survival in him that is really, I would say, generating his responses. And so might be to ask him what he's afraid of. Ask him what he thinks the worst thing is going to happen, and why is he coming from that perspective, or how would it help him, to look at things from a different way. But I would say there's fear in him and anxiety in him, and maybe talking about what that is for him could be helpful. Let me see here. Let me see if there's something else here. gosh, people are digging in, political. So, hang on here. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that might be a different angle uh, with him. Yeah, I'm hearing, you're holding a vision for the future that's bigger and brighter and healthier. And you're seeing opportunity. You're seeing what needs to be healed and what can be healed and what can happen. And he is in, looks like just lack and survival and wanting to hold on. I don't know what that's about, but maybe approaching it from opportunity, things to move towards, ways that we can grow and evolve as opposed to staying stuck in the fear and realizing that's old stuff. It's just old stuff. When you look at the parties today, it's so clear. Um, there is quite the polarity, but you can't. You could say that one party represents fear and one party represents love, but no matter what party you're for, you're going to think your party's for love. So I don't know. Some people are so locked in to how they see things and are unwilling to see things differently. So it might be you just don't even have that discussion and just say, well, I'm going to talk about it. Let's talk about other things, and just put that on the shelf when you speak to one another, and find something that you can have common ground on that can be uplifting to discuss. So, but again, if you're in a position of influence to guide someone out of their fears and anxieties, that can be really helpful. So I would trust in that too. I don't know if that's helpful. Okay. Let me see here. I am waiting on 3 art funding and exhibition proposals. Can you look and see if they'll be successful? If not, what's in the future? Okay. I love it that you asked that question. I'm not sure when you joined us, but the whole thing we've been talking about today is art and painting and the blank canvas of our life, and how our energy is the paintbrush and our thoughts are the actual strokes. So, I love that you're an artist and you're having this experience with 3 exhibition proposals out there. I'm hearing 2 of the 3 will go, like will happen for you. There's one that may not be in your highest and best interest, so that might not go, but 2 will. So keep focusing on those happening and being in your future. And you might even put a few more proposals out there. But just remember, your thoughts are creating those brushstrokes. So see yourself having those exhibitions, and see yourself getting invited to do more than you even thought possible. Um, and be open to remember. I love this. Like, we are often painting our lives on these 11 by 18 canvases, but the guides are painting on these 12 by 12s. And so remember, you don't know what that expansion is going to look like for you. Just be open to it. Keep seeing what you want to see and minding your thoughts as the brushstrokes and painting exactly what you want to see happen. So I love it. Okay. This is so much fun. All right, I start chemo on Friday. I'm really scared. I'm trying to get in a positive mindset. I don't want to lose my hair, but I do want to lose weight. Can you please let me know how it's going to go? Okay, here. Let me see here one more time. Well, you know what? Chemo is a scary thing, and it is life-changing. And of course, it's frightening because you don't know what you're going to experience. And so be okay with that too, that you're, feeling anxious about it. And I am hearing it's not going to be as bad as you think it's going to be. And that you're going to find there are ways to be in this experience that are new and different, that things have advanced. And there's going to be more support and things for you to turn to for um, more ease in the situation than you might possibly know. So I would really be open to looking at alternative support on this journey and what's available to you in that regard. So, going definitely the traditional allopathic way, but also looking at the alternative homeopathic ways to, do this together. It doesn't have to be just one way, but it also feels like it's important for you that part of this journey is for you to kind of have a reset button and really reevaluate how you're being here. But it's also here to introduce you to other options, other choices. That you might not have made for yourself otherwise. So be curious about this. Um, Acknowledge the fear, acknowledge the anxiety, and yet somehow see if you can find that way to trust in the process and see if you can begin to imagine what this bigger canvas looks like for you. Because it's happening for a reason. It is part of your journey. So be open to how it changes you. Be open to how you evolve through this. And know that you have a lot of support around you, both in spirit and here in physical. So thank you for asking that question. And please check in with us and let us know. Okay, where am I going here? All right, my husband and I have considered moving to South Carolina. We're in North Carolina now. Do you see me move us out of there or where? Okay. I would say you'll move. It feels like in about 2 years. I don't feel like it's on a fast track, but I would say within the next 2 years. South Carolina. I see a heart around that place for you, so it feels like there's already a place there that you know you would like and love. Feels easy to get to, and that you would appreciate it. Here. I'm just seeing if there's anything else here. I'm not sure what Tennessee might mean for you, but Tennessee is popping up too. I know that's away from the coast, but there's something around Tennessee that lights up. Um, yeah, I would be open to what that is. Could it be, Chattanooga, still where there's lots of water? I'm not sure, but I would be open to see what Tennessee has going on. Okay, let's see here. When can I expect my mediumship psychic skills to fully strengthen? Frequent recent activity with family, eager to communicate directly and stop pestering readers for clarity. Okay, you know what? You're not pestering readers for clarity. We do this because we love doing it, and it's just so much fun to be a channel for that for you. So, um, you know what? And oftentimes, the more you reach out, the more you're in the energy of it. Does that make sense? Um, so the more you hang around psychics, it's like the more your psychic abilities start to develop because you're in the energy of it, and so you start to tune into that, and that energy becomes more familiar to you. Now, this is the first time that information has come through, and I love it. I think that's cool because we've been talking about energy and being in the energy of something we want to, create for ourselves, step into. So, um, here. Part of the psychic stuff, really, the biggest hiccup is not trusting it. And so I'm hearing for you, it's really about believing the connections, believing in what you're getting. And the best thing you can do is practice, 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 and practice with uh, people practice with strangers. Anybody's got to be open to it, though, willing to let you try and connect for them. And that's really where it's going to happen. So I would start practicing. Um, Not unsolicited, though, if that makes sense. Don't just try and get messages for people and call them up and say, hey, I got this message. That might be crossing a boundary, if that makes sense. But ask people, I am really trying to develop my psychic gift. You know, would you be open? Would you be curious? Would you be interested to see if I get any messages for you? Or is there anybody in spirit? And if they say yes, say, is there anybody in spirit you want to see if I can connect with? If they say yes, go for it. But that would be one of the best things you could do right now. So, and that'll build your confidence too as you get validation from what comes through. Okay. Hi, Betsy. Okay. Hello, Janice. I am opening up to the spiritual world, guides, energy crystals, and other healing modalities. Where are the guides leading me in this lifetime? Oh, my goodness. Um, that is, the guides aren't going to tell you that. And because they are so appreciative of the journey you're on and all that you're finding to discover. And that saying that it's not in the destination, it's in the journey. That is so true. And it really is so true. And because it's the journey that you get the scenic views along the way, or you meet people along the way and you have these fabulous connections and stories. And so for you, the work really is trusting what you're drawn to and moving towards that, and honoring whatever in you that's niggling or nudging or kind of pushing you in that direction. And you're going to find, as you get into this spirit world and you realize there's so much going on here, the world expands in ways you can't even imagine. And you'll start to get evidence and signs. And your guides, I have one client, oh my God, I can't tell you, every time we talk, she's got picture after picture after picture of license plates with crazy messages that just validate things we talk about, things she says that she wants to do. I mean, it's wild and it's just so much fun. And that's how things can happen for you. So start to be open, really understanding, what does citrine, that beautiful golden stone, mean, and how could that benefit me in my environment? And for those of you that don't know, citrine, I've got, I might grab it here. Citrine is that beautiful golden stone that looks like the sun. It actually absorbs negativity from the environment and transmutes it into positive energy. It's one stone that never needs cleansing. And so it's beautiful to have in your area. It just brings positive, uplifting energy and acts like a vacuum in your environment, just naturally. So, I think everybody should have citrine, some way, somehow. But it is being open to these things, and really, it's almost like learning a new language and then learning it so fluently that it's like going to France and learning French and being able to speak fluently when you're there, and it being so natural and easy. It's like that, being open to the spirit world and the crystals and all these modalities. It is learning a new language, and it really creates a whole nother world for you to explore. So I love it that you're just getting started, and that you're here. Welcome. World is just going to take off in ways you can't imagine. So, and it gives you something to know that there's something bigger here that's got your back, that is with you on this journey. And, if you come across some times that are challenging, knowing that you have the support just makes it easier to be with. So, y'all are asking some fabulous stuff here. Let me see. Thank you. Oh, talking about the son, you're right. My son is very anxious. He owns a small business that's very successful, but he feels stressed constantly. Yeah. Okay, here. Okay, so I've got a couple of you guys here that just want messages from your guides. Let me see here. Okay. Okay. Let me see. So in sessions like this, when we do the group things, it's helpful to have a little bit more specific that you're looking at, because when we do the group thing like this, it's like there's so many messages we could pull out and take what you really needed to hear. So if you were brought to this session, whether live or later, your guides are bringing you here to get some message. So it might not be one that I give to you directly, and it might be one that somebody asked a question 30 minutes ago that you needed to hear the answer to. And so be open to kind of looking through some of the questions here and seeing what you needed to hear. Let me see if there's anything specific. I'm looking at Brenda and then Journey to Self for both of you. Let me see here. Okay, I gotta wear my glasses here. I love it. All right, so Brenda, let's see here. All right, Brenda, what I'm hearing for you is that you give, 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 give. And they would like for you to have a little balance in that and receive, receive, receive. And they would like for you to practice receiving and receive without needing to give. I hope that makes sense. And that's big work. Big work. And they want you to be really conscious of that imbalance there, and that it would be healthy and nice for you to bring a little balance to that and let yourself receive without needing to give. Because sometimes the gift you give is in letting yourself receive. It's like letting someone else give to you. That's a gift you give to them. Does that make sense? Okay. And then let me see, Journey to Self. Do my guides have any message for me, please? Okay. So for you, Angela, I am hearing it's time to put on your creative hat. So I'm not sure. They said the creative nature in you could use some dusting off, could use some expansion, could use some movement and flow. And they said one thing is you have to believe in your creativity, whatever that might look like for you. You have to trust that you're creative. And yeah, and they're saying be kind to yourself. Let yourself play here. Think of a child playing, and when they're in their full-on imagination and they're just being and doing and playing, they have no thought in the world about being judged or criticized or that they're being silly. And they would like for you to get into that space and be creative and see what you create from that space, where you might have the mind of a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old and you're just here to play. They would like for you to spend a little time every weekend doing that, or like once a week. Whether it's an hour or two, they want you to get in that space and let yourself be silly and creative. So there's something there for you that will to give birth to. So not sure what that might mean, but again, you'll have to let us know. Okay. All right, you guys, I've gone way over time, but there were so many questions and such great questions. I just really enjoyed this whole experience and being able to do this with you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your interest in this work, for wanting to expand, for wanting to learn, for wanting to share. Yeah, it's great energy to put into the world and just keeps reverberating out. And I have you to thank for that. And together we are putting some positive vibes out there. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all have a great week. I will let you know when I do a pop-up next week. I'll give you a heads up. So I'll put that on Instagram or Facebook. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Okay. Bye, you guys. Let me find. Okay.